Hey, what's up, guys? It's Jordan and Demi. We're here with Adam Duritz from Counting Crows. New album out now. What's the concept behind Butter Miracle Sweet? Like, what does Butter Miracle mean? Where did that come from?
It's a thing I made up, and it's a secret.
Okay.
I mean, it's just some nonsense, but it means something to me. But
Okay, cool.
I'm not telling anybody.
Well,
Are you
Not just
eating
you. I'm not
butter?
telling anybody.
good. Well, we love a secret meaning, and we love to add to the Counting Crows lore with, a little bit of cryptic. Yeah, love it. Love it. It's good marketing, Adam. Good marketing.
Thank you.
So,
Thank you.
and you got this huge tour kind of part of it. I mean, huge. Like at this point, what does a Counting Crows tour look like? Obviously, you got the better tour bus, better whatever. But do you enjoy the road now?
I mean, I've kind of been living on tour for 30 years now, so I'm pretty used to it. I mean, there's a group of like 20 people that I've been living with for most of my adult life at this point. Between our crew and the band, we've all been kind of doing this together for so long. I honestly, I'd say it's changed in recent years because I'm in a really good relationship and I've been happy. But I was probably more comfortable on tour than at home before this. Now I think my home life's pretty great. But yeah, I mean, it's been my life for so long. I don't know what I would do without it, I
Yeah.
guess.
No, I totally understand. Totally understand.
So
Um,
is tour life kind of like an escape, like you know what I mean?
hmm,
Well, I was going to work. It's more like, like it's been my job for so long. I'm just used to living at work like that. Um, Now, I mean, I think going home is still kind of the escape because it's just time off. Not right now. Obviously, we're doing a lot of work for the record, but no, I mean it's where my job is.
yeah, yeah. When you are home, do you have shows that you watch? Are you able to do that, or do you watch cooking stuff? Like, what do you watch? That's what
Yeah, what does
I
a rock star do at home?
yeah.
I watch a lot of cooking stuff online. I guess I'm always flipping through Instagram trying to find interesting chefs who are doing stuff just because I want to learn how to do everything. And uh, there's just a lot of really good cooks online. You can learn to cook stuff that way. I want to make stuff for Zoe, so I spend a lot of time at that. Uh, on We watch a lot of movies, and I guess we do watch a fair amount of TV now too. We've watched the first half of The Pit, and She got me to watch White Lotus, but now I think it's the greatest thing. It's so good.
I
So
haven't jumped into White Lotus. I feel like once I do, it's going to be like 2 weeks of my life gone. So
it's a very, very fascinating, good show, I would say. So we've been watching that. We just started The Last of Us, which is scaring the shit out of me. I'm not really good with horror.
neither am I.
Zoe
I'm a
loves
big
horror.
weenie. I feel you. I feel you.
I'm not good with it. I'm trying to watch it because of her, and it's really good, but it's also really freaking me out. So
Yeah,
yeah, and then we just watched. She wanted to see John Adams, which I'd seen before, but we've just watched all of that over the last few days, and we finished it last
well,
night.
that'd be a good John Adams. Paul Giamatti's a good palate cleanser. After
Yeah, it
after
was nice.
the zombie invasion there. Yeah. Um, but I love talking about TV. I could talk about it forever, but you had a little bit of a gap, or not a little bit, several years before the Butter Miracle era, I guess we're calling it. And I'm assuming that COVID kind of kicked your creativity or your mechanisms back in. But how did you spin that gap? Like 2016 through COVID. Like, what did that kind of time off in terms of recording and songwriting? What did that do for you?
Well, we were on the road for a lot, for all of that, really. I mean, we still tour constantly. And then I wrote a lot of this stuff. I was visiting a friend of mine. He has a farm in the west of England, and I spent a lot of time on that farm, just kind of walking in the woods by myself, sometimes with a dog. And I wrote the suite over there, and we kind of recorded that right before the pandemic, and then after the pandemic, I went back and wrote most of the stuff for this half of the record. But it's almost all written on that farm.
Are you a big contemplative? Are you a big meditative person?
No, I mean
No.
I don't meditate. I don't
Yeah,
meditate
yeah.
at all. I don't like to. I have enough trouble dealing with what's going on in my head. I don't want to give it any more free reign.
Okay.
I have to keep
Okay.
that. I have to keep a handle on stuff in my head. Otherwise, it's yeah. No,
Yeah,
meditating scares the crap
I
out of me.
understand that. Yeah. Yeah, go ahead, Demi. I can tell you got something.
No, just I'm laughing because I called my mom and I was like, "Mom," and I told her who we're having on the show today, and I've just never seen my mom flip out over anything like that before. Like I literally
Mm.
had to like tell her 100 times, "Okay, I have to go now. Like I have to get ready now." She calls me back twice after just to like I'm like, "Mom, I have to go." Like she's like, "Is can so shout out to my mom because she's a huge fan." Um I
Hey,
kind of
mom.
want to get yeah, I want to get into the early days though, like do you ever get nostalgic about that first album, that first tour, like
Or do you get tired of it?
like looking back now? Yeah.
No, not really. I mean, it was kind of hard. I just wasn't. I wasn't any good at any of this stuff then. I didn't know how to make records. I didn't know how to be a band leader. I didn't know how to tour. It was really hard. My voice gave out all the time because you go from like playing once a month at home, and then all of a sudden you're on the road and you're playing 7 days in a row. And I lost my voice constantly. I was swallowing steroids by the dozen to keep my voice together. Um, plus, getting famous is really weird. It's a big, strange change. I've often compared it to like if you woke up on Mars, it would take you a little while to get used to the gravity. You know what I mean? It's really different. And I was a very shy person, um, and just someone who really wasn't used to a lot of people. And then all of a sudden, I was about as recognizable as you could ever be. And I just got really freaked out those first few years. So, um, but also like I've learned to. It was my dream. All I ever wanted to do was write songs and be in a rock band. And I've had 30 years of it working out, which is pretty great. But probably that first year or two was the hardest. I didn't know how to make a record. I didn't know how to do anything. Um, so I've got no nostalgia for that. But I think it's a great record, and I love those songs. I mean, anyways, I play those songs all the time whenever I want to. Like we are on tour constantly, and I play a lot of those songs, so I don't have to really miss them because I love them and I play them all the time.
Kind of going off of what Demi was bringing up, when you guys were first gaining fame in 92, 93, you guys were considered like the anti-Nirvana, the anti-grunge, because you were had more of like a throwback 60s, 70s sound. Did you hate being, because back then, music journalism, MTV, all that stuff was very binary. There wasn't a whole lot of nuance available. Did you did you embrace that kind of hippie thing that was thrown upon you, or were you like, nah, this isn't really us? What are you talking about?
Well, people are always going to find ways to interpret you or whatever they say about you. Um, but I was friends with Kurt. I mean, we were label mates. Same guy signed us. I wasn't really close to him, but I really liked him, and I was a huge Nirvana fan. They were so good. Um, no, I mean everybody on DGC kind of did different stuff. It was a weird little indie major label like Nirvana, us,
Weezer.
Sonic Youth, the Sundays, the Posies, Weezer, Teenage Fan Club, Beck, uh,
What a
Maria
roster.
McKee.
What a roster.
Right?
We were all. It was a cool label full of everybody doing their own thing, really. So we just thought of ourselves as all like we were just this little indie wing on a major label. Like we were a college radio band until we were suddenly huge, like and not a college radio band. I just thought we were kind of all bands playing music.
Yeah.
Other people's take on it doesn't really affect you that much until you read about it, I guess. You're just because you're out on the road on tour, you don't have a lot of uh, what's the word? it's not like you're talking to everybody every day of your day about how they see you.
Right.
I'm just kind of happy to see the concerts full of
Yeah,
people.
you're in it for sure, for sure.
Yeah.
But what a time, what a time. And I know that you mentioned before that you like being in a band. You never really wanted to be a solo artist. When Mr. Jones broke out and you were this famous person, you were sort of in the paparazzi also. And I'm sure you got offers. Did you ever entertain the thought of going solo or anything like that, or was it ever even no?
No, not really. Um, I just couldn't see the allure of it. What would you want about it? I couldn't see what. I'm the band leader. I can still do whatever I want.
Mm.
But I love the band. I really love playing with people. I don't really want to like. I never could figure out. I guess I get more money in a
Yeah,
solo career, but
that was
I mean
that
I'm
was a big
fine.
Bobby Brown's famous line. That's why he left New Edition, was he could get the same amount of money, but split it one way. So yeah, totally.
Yeah, but as much as I enjoyed New Edition, I could certainly see why he wanted to be. That's different
You
because
don't
that's
you
not
don't
even
think
your
Counting Crows and
band.
New
You know what I
Edition
mean?
are the same, or this in the same category? Yeah.
Well, I mean, I
No,
loved
I'm
that
just I'm
stuff,
just kidding.
and
I'm
I
just kidding.
love Bobby Brown. But I mean, those guys, that's someone else's band. You know what I mean? That's like a
Yeah,
producer, manager. That's a created band. So like, he probably didn't have much creative freedom in New
right,
Edition, whereas
right.
we have all the creative freedom in the world.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah,
so to me, like being in Counting Crows was everything I'd ever dreamed about, and no, I never really wanted to do anything else. Also,
yeah.
what would the other guys do? I mean, I'm
Yeah,
sort of
you're right.
responsible for all them.
Maybe they do. Maybe they could
Yeah.
have branched off and done like a New Order thing or something. I don't know. But but for real though, what happened to the iconic fringe jacket from the Mr. Jones video? What is that in? Is that in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame somewhere? Is that in your closet? Like what happened to that?
It's in the closet.
Nice,
I think
nice.
it's in the closet. I mean, I saw it. Yeah, it's definitely in the closet. It might
Oh,
be. It's possibly we sealed it up like in some plastic, so it's not a. Over the winter you put stuff away sometimes so that it
right.
doesn't get moths or something. Uh,
So you
but
treated
yeah,
it
no,
like
I
you
mean
would a nice sweater.
it's here somewhere. It's also possible it's just in the closet. I just don't know, but I'm pretty sure it is.
Well, what was that just a jacket you wore all the time and just happened to wear in the video, or did someone choose, hey, that would look cool in the video?
I think I had a fringe jacket that I wore all the time that got stolen right before we made the video. Like it got lost on the road. I wore it all the time. I was obsessed with it. And then I think they helped me find a new one because I didn't want to do the video without my jacket. It was kind of a security blanket, I think.
Are you a Bay Area guy still? Are you in LA? Where's your home base?
No, I'm in New York. I've
Oh,
lived
you're in
here
New York.
for
Oh, okay.
22 years, I
Oh,
guess.
okay.
I
Okay.
moved here in 2003.
Okay.
I lived
Why
in Hollywood
why'd you
before that.
decide to stay there? A lot of people like to have their LA home or their California home. Why'd you pick New York?
I loved LA when I moved down there. I just think New York's incredible. I can't imagine. I think once you live in New York for a while, it's probably really hard to live anywhere else.
Yeah.
It's a very addictive city. You can do anything you want. I mean, everything is here. Like anything culturally you want to get into, they got it. I just think it's the greatest city on earth. I love the subway. I love just the ability to go anywhere 24 hours a day for like $3. Like it's.
Literally.
I just think it's the greatest place. I only wish. I feel like I missed. The thing about New York is whenever you leave, you worry about what you miss while you're gone. I worry about the years I wasn't living here. I probably missed great stuff. I don't know what it was.
I think about that all the time. I lived in New York for several years, but I missed sort of the 2009 to 2014 was kind of like a golden era in Brooklyn, and I was in DC. I was a DC khaki pants guy, so I kind of regret not being there for that. But yeah, totally. And Demi's from the Bronx, by the way. So this is
Oh, well, there you go.
yeah.
I would be doing like a disservice if I didn't ask about Mr. Jones,
Mm.
because like my mom's a fan, but I actually know you from that song, and I'm pretty sure a lot of people do. Can we talk about the writing of that song? And did you know like it was going to be as big as it ended up being?
Oh God, no.
Mm.
I
Wow.
mean, it wasn't even something we thought was a hit. Back then you used to put out like an introductory track, and then maybe the single would come next, or the third release would be the single. I think everybody thought Rain King was the hit off the record. Mr. Jones was just kind of the introductory track. It wasn't even what the record label wanted. They wanted a different song. They wanted Murder of One because it had that Jesus Jones drum beat. Uh, but I would have had to edit it, and I refused to edit anything. So we compromised by not releasing anything at all. And then we went on tour opening for Suede and the Cranberries, and then later Cracker. And there were a lot of radio stations coming to see those guys. And so whenever they asked us about our band, we would just lie and say Mr. Jones was our hit single.
Mm.
But it wasn't on the radio at all. And then I heard like a few months later, it started to take off, and MTV called Geffen and asked uh, where the video was for the single. And Geffen was like, which song?
Mm.
And the MTV people were like, what do you mean, which song? The single, Mr. Jones. And they were like, oh yeah, we'll have it to you right away. And we had to fly back to LA, like emergency, with like a couple days off to film the video on this weekend in LA. And then they put it out. But it was like, they didn't even think it was the single. But I mean, it was a pretty big hit on the radio, but the record wasn't even in the top 200. And then we played Saturday Night Live, and we played Round Here, and the record jumped 40 spots a week for 5 weeks until we were at number 2, from like 215 to number 2 in 6 weeks, something like that. But as far as writing it, it's kind of the story of the song. My friend Marty Jones, who had been in all the bands I'd been in before Counting Crows, his dad was a famous flamenco guitar player in Spain, and he was visiting America and playing some gigs with his flamenco troupe in the Mission in San Francisco. And we went to see the show, and then went out with those guys that night. And all the singers and guitar players and dancers, and we all went out, and there were these really hot dancers that were paying no attention to us at all. And I remember because Chris Isaac's band was like the hottest rockabilly band in San Francisco then. And his drummer was in the corner of this one bar with seemed like 2 or 3 girls sitting with him. That's how I remember it now. And Marty looked at me and he was like, man, we got to get our shit together. Because if we were like rock stars like him, we wouldn't have so much trouble talking to girls. And I went home and I was like, that's actually a really funny thought about a song. Like 2 guys who are musicians, just dreaming about how much easier it would be if they were rock stars. But also then the song's kind of about that, you kind of know it's not going to turn out like that. Life's not, even if you're successful, it doesn't fix everything to get famous. It just makes you famous, And so I wrote the song, and it was a long time before we were famous. It was a few years before we even got signed, I would think. And like I said, when we made it, it wasn't a song that anyone thought was really the hit. It just kind of lasted weirdly. I mean, it's a great song. I love it.
It's good. I love when bands have a good relationship with their hit songs, and they're not just like, yeah, I know I have to play it because people expect me to play it.
I mean, I get sick of it sometimes, but I get
Sure.
sick of almost everything. The only song I never get tired of is A Long December. Every other song, there are nights where I don't want to play it, so I just don't play it. But A Long December, I'll play it any night. I never get tired
love
of
A Long December, and that's honestly a good point. Is that it's helpful to have several hits to mix around instead of just 1 or 2 songs that you're known for. So that's a nice thing. That's why I think that when a band is hot, I always it's always satisfying to me to see them hit the gas and record and really create when they have the mojo going. And I think you guys really did that when you guys had the mojo going. You guys, really, really got it. My friend Eric recited Round Here as poetry in one of my classes as like an interpretive thing. He brought it up. He's got a notebook and he and he sang and he recited it as if he was a character telling a story. So so you were really affecting kids in Missouri with those lyrics.
Nice.
Yeah,
Well, I
yeah,
mean, I think that song, that to me was always like the really epic. Mr. Jones is a great song, but it sounds like there's a lot of songs that are kind of cool rock and roll pop hits like that. But Round Here is pretty unique to me. I always
yeah.
thought that was the song that was going to really make people pay attention to us, and it always was. Like that was the one on stage that would everybody would stop what they were doing, because we were opening for a lot of pretty successful bands and having to make an impression as like an opening band. And that song always like everybody focused on us. And like I
Right.
said, that was a song that kind of blew us up.
Yeah, yeah, totally. And I love it. It had that sort of psychedelic part. The bridge just has that kind of psychedelic vibe to it. Yeah, it was a good. I do think that one thing that is kind of cool about that era is that there was room to do something different musically. I think that by 92, 93, it was like whatever could be a hit could be a hit. It was less predictable.
Well, I think people were coming out, a lot of bands were coming out of college radio, and that was really fertile ground right then. People were really listening to a lot of different kinds of stuff. Um, I think the weird thing was that after grunge, everything kind of got back to being the same again in some ways. Like, I think Nirvana is one of the greatest bands ever, but that doesn't mean that everyone dressed the same was as great as they were. Radio is always more comfortable when they know exactly what they're going to play. But I do think there were some years where people played different stuff, especially because MTV did.
Yeah.
They were pretty good about that.
Yeah, you obviously some of the Counting Crows videos were super big on MTV. Did you enjoy making videos? How much did you help with the kind of the creative process of making them? What was your relationship with making videos during the prime of MTV?
I didn't feel like we were great at it. I felt like our songs were better listened to. They were really hard to find uh, ways to express the songs. They were really like stories in a lot of ways, and I felt like we struggled with making videos. They were okay. Some of them were good. Um, I think Mr. Jones works because it's kind of just like the celebration of the vibe of the song. And the Round Here video is just really, really weird, and that kind of works too. But I always felt like we really struggled with it. Like we worked so hard to find the right ways to present the songs and to make what was a Counting Crows song on the recordings. And then all of a sudden you've got to turn it over to somebody else who has nothing to do with it to kind of like express it visually. And I mean, it was the kind of thing we did everything ourselves. We were very much like an indie band on the major label. We didn't have any really like influence, or we didn't do a lot of work with the label. We made our records ourselves, and they were really personal. And then it was hard to take that and turn it over to some guy who would, really talented guys, but what do they know about the song? You know what I mean? And it was just, I never felt like we were great at that. Cause there were other bands who were the people in the bands were more interested in filmmaking. Like, I love film. I'm obsessed with movies, but I'm not a filmmaker. Like, Michael Stipe was great about that. He was really into making movies, and I think he put a lot into REM videos, which is probably why REM videos were so good. But that really wasn't what I did. So I always kind of struggle with that. I loved MTV, but I don't think we were any good at it.
Interesting. Interesting. Yeah. I'm always interested in how things work logistically. Obviously, one of your biggest songs is the Shrek 2 song, Accidentally Love. Was that like a thing you got because you were on the label, or how did you even get a Shrek soundtrack song, put in front of
No,
you?
that was DreamWorks, so it wasn't. Geffen was gone from Geffen by then. No, it was just the producers called me up and they brought me over to Amblin, Spielberg's studio over there, and I sat with them, and we went through the whole movie. They showed me the scene at the beginning that they wanted a song over, and then they showed me the whole movie, and where it wasn't done yet, they showed me like storyboards so I could understand the plot. And then we went back and watched the beginning again. And I said, they told me kind of how they wanted it to feel. And I said, well, can I take a DVD with this scene on it, the first 5 minutes of the movie or so I can have something to look at? And they gave me that. And then I just worked on it. It was pretty cool because it was really, unlike a lot of songs for soundtracks that we had done, it really needed to fit in a way. Like it had to make the movie. It wasn't like I had seen Cruel Intentions, and they told me what they wanted for that scene, and I had just written Colorblind a couple days before, so I was like, you should come over to the studio. I think I've got the perfect song for this, and I'll record a quick version of it. And I played it over I was sure it worked, but they could cut in and out of that. It wasn't the defining thing of the movie, but the Shrek thing, it was the opening theme of the movie, and it had to fit perfectly. So we worked on it over in London, and then we would send it to them, email it, and they were on the phone with the director, and he's talking about, well, the first part is a little too big right away. I'm like, okay, what if we record an acoustic part for the beginning of it so that it begins a little more gently? Like the version you hear on the radio isn't actually the version in the movie, because the version in the movie has a whole acoustic intro first verse kind of thing. So we went back and worked on that and had to time it to work perfectly with the scene from the movie. So then we'd email that to them, and they would send us the scene and make their comments. So it was really even as we were recording it, because we were on tour in London, we had a few days between a European tour and heading down to South Africa. And we worked recording this song in London. And it was really cool because it was the first time I'd ever really collaborated with somebody about the details. We just make our songs whatever we want them to be. But for Shrek, we really had to make the details match up to what was on the screen. And it was really cool. It wasn't frustrating or boring. It was kind of exciting and inspiring to sit with a director on the phone 5,000 miles away and get a song right. I really loved it. Also, to me, that stuff's timeless. I really wanted to be on a movie like that, because when you think about it, your grandmother saw Snow White, your mother saw Snow White, you saw Snow White as a kid. You have kids, they're going to see Snow White, I mean, that stuff lasts forever, and nothing in our culture lasts like really smart animated kids movies. They're timeless. So I wanted to be on something like that, because that'll be there forever. Generations of kids will watch that, and they'll get introduced to our music. I just thought that was such a cool thing to be.
And you hear stories about that all the time, where someone gets into a band because they heard them on a movie and then investigated further. They can look you up, So yeah, that's really cool. Do you have a favorite? What's your favorite animated movie of all time? Do you have a favorite?
Oh, I don't know.
You don't know? Okay.
I thought that movie, that the Wild Robot, that was pretty beautiful.
I haven't seen Wild Robot. It looked like the Iron Giant to me. I love Iron Giant.
Also a great movie.
Yeah.
I love the Iron Giant. I was thinking about saying the Iron Giant, but then I thought, man, I just saw that Wild Robot movie, and that was also really wonderful. There's so many good movies. All of the Disney animated output, all the Shrek movies are great.
Yeah.
I haven't seen all of them. There's just so many really good animated movies, man. All the Pixar movies, man, they did such a good job. That quality level, year after year after year, that kind of blows me away.
Yeah, I love Toy Story 2 is my favorite Pixar movie. Love Toy Story 2.
It's a great movie.
Yeah.
Shrek.
Yeah. Were you a Shrek girl when you were a kid, Demi?
I like Shrek.
All right. All right.
What's not to like?
All right, Adam, we'll let you go. Thank you so much for joining us on the show. Butter Miracle, The Complete Suites is out now, and the tour is starting June 10th in Nashville. All right. Thank you so much, Adam.
Thanks for having me. I mean, it's nice to have people interested. Obviously, we've been doing this for a long time. It'll be really easy for everyone to be bored to death with us. I really appreciate.
No, I love that you're still making music, and that it still is. You're not, because a lot of bands, when they make new music, you're like, oh, it's fine. But I mean, it stands up with your catalog. It's a consistency, and I appreciate that you guys are doing the quality. I really appreciate it.
Thanks so much, you guys. I really appreciate it.
All right. We'll talk to you later, Adam. Thanks.
Have a good one, y'all.